Let's see if you're in. Sweet.
Got it.
All right, everyone. We are back again, another day late, but we had some things come up this week. We wanted to make sure the show came out before everyone stopped working today so they can kill their last hour watching the show. So, Mark, we had week 3 just went by?
Another week.
Another week. We're getting there. What's that?
Another loss for one of us.
For a lot of us, for half of us. So we'll just recap last week. The first game we had was Gravity Rainbow versus Batting Lawn. I obviously took myself. You and Tags took Gravity Rainbow, and he beat me 105-84. He came out with Herbert had 36. He's currently QB 13, but it looks like he's really making his move. I'm sure he'll be in the top 10 soon enough. On the other side, Hopkins for him got 3.5 points. 3.6. That's not great, but we'll see. I think he was a little banged up. We'll see how it goes moving forward. My team, I had Teddy Bridgewater, Teddy Two Gloves versus the Jets. Thought that was an excellent matchup. He came out with 9.5 points. My running backs totaled 8 points between the two of them after the Hilaire trade and after Dalvin Cook went out. They said he was banged up, but they said he was not missing this week until Friday. Then they said he's probably missing. And then I was on the hook because Madison already got picked up, and it happened to be Pat. And we all know that it's difficult when he's in a position of power to make a trade that works for both of you. And then again, another week, another disappointment. Pitts, 4.5 points. He's tight end 15 right now. I think he was a 3rd or 4th tight end drafted. So his targets are going up. I know Tagmar doesn't value targets as much as I do, but hopefully his targets turn into catches, turn into touchdowns, turns into points. But that was anything stick out to you in that first game?
Justin Herbert, he's I think the top performer. Aaron Jones, solid. His receiving core, which is one of the best, didn't perform, but he's still George Kittle finally had put a decent game together. On your side, pretty much a lackluster performance by everyone except DJ Moore in your defense. So, hurt running backs, not going to help. No tight end, no second receiver, really no chance.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I'm hoping – I have a vision for my team. I feel like I drafted very well. They're just not performing the way they're supposed to. I take no blame for this.
I feel you too.
Coming up with that sentiment, the next game's Cream of Wheat versus Ben's Baloney Boppers. Me and you took Kareem of Wheat, and Tags took Ben's Baloney Boppers. He won. Cream of Wheat won 108-95. So it was a closer game, 13 points. Swift and Gibson for him got 20 and 18. Swift is currently becoming a superstar. Rondell Moore with that big price tag took 1.4 points. And there's a lot here. Taylor, Fournette, Hill, Julio, and Gronk totaled 35. There's a game where Hill will put 35 up himself. Gronk has been a touchdown maker. Fournette, Taylor should be doing much better than he is. But again, you drafted a good team. They're not performing. You get 35 total points out of 5 of your high caliber players. What can you do there?
Yeah, I think it's I'm starting to worry about Jonathan Taylor. My number 1 pick, I think he's only scored double digits one time this season. And it was like 12 or 13 points. It wasn't even a lot. I'm not really worried about Hill and Evans. I still like the receivers. Flex is fine. Gronk, I'm not worried about. It's really about the running back position. And, we'll see if Taylor pulls it together, because if he doesn't, I might need to make some moves there.
Yeah, I was actually a big fan of Taylor. If it means anything, just the people I follow, the site I follow, are saying buy low on Taylor. I think when you're 0-3, you don't sell Taylor low. So I don't really know what to do in that position. They also said sell on CEH, and he scored and got a touchdown last week. So
yeah, on the other side, Cream of Wheat, nothing in particular. Dak did well. I actually thought Dak would have had more points watching that game than he had. Gibson and Swift, fine, but after that, really, not much other than Kelsey. So
Yeah, and that's Kelsey every week. Where Hill will miss his games, it doesn't seem like Kelsey does, and that's impressive. Next one was the General versus Still Agenda. The General kept the crown. You took Pat. Me and Tags took himself. General was excellent. Every player did well except Hawkinson and Cooper. Diggs got 9. McLaurin got 8. Diggs is wide receiver 29. Again, just another lackluster performance. These superstar players aren't living up to draft expectations, but then you have Josh Allen, got 42 points last week. He's climbing. Him and Herbert are climbing up the ranks pretty quick. So I think Pat's future looks good. He won. General won by 3.8 points. It was a close one, but the General does keep his crown.
yeah, you know what? This was a good matchup, and actually, Stephon Diggs might be. He's another disappointment so far this year, like Jonathan Taylor. But other than that, maybe both of them had lackluster performance in tight end. Other than that, they're both really solid lineups. Game of the week right here. And actually, what I thought was a weak spot for the Agenda were his running backs. And even on the bench, he had 3 running backs score in double digits.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that actually he might be able to pull it together, just string a running back through the entire year now there, and it's going to make him tough to beat.
Yeah, he always ends up having a decent team. If he would come to you with a Diggs for Taylor trade, would you accept that? Because they're both kind of down.
Well, I need a running back. So.
I value running backs higher. If they're equal, I tend to lean at the running back position is a little more important.
I mean, if I had 2 other solid running backs, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But personally, my team doesn't, so I wouldn't. But yeah, it just all depends on team needs.
Mm-hmm.
I like when trades are fair, when both sides win.
I agree. That's my favorite time. That I don't do those usually, but when I do, I enjoy it.
I actually had a trade in place this week, and it wasn't executed because it was too fair.
You want to elaborate at all, or?
Well, it was just the person that I discussed the deal with didn't pull the trigger on the trade because when he put it into one of his trade analyzers, it was a 50-50 deal. So half the time I won, half the time he won. And the entire reason for him declining was that he didn't win.
I have also had dealings with a trade analyzer, interestingly enough, and it worked the other way where, well, it shows me losing the trade, so we should definitely make the trade because I'm sacrificing for you. The trade analyzer, it's fluid. It's you need to look at team makeup. It's not, you can't really plug it in. It's how you feel, what you think. It's whatever.
But I understand his reasons for not doing it team makeup wise.
Yeah.
But as far as the trade being 50-50 and too fair,
that's what you go for. No one wants to lose the trade. So there's not a lot of trading in this league. So maybe that's what it is. It's tough. Very tough. Okay, moving on. Thundergun Express versus the Brady Bunch. We all took Thundergun. Thundergun won by 32. Kyler is currently wide receiver 2, and he had another Kyler game. Barkley finally had his breakout game. You think that's a thing to come? Is he getting healthy now, or did he just catch a weak opponent?
No, I think this is what we should expect from here on out.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think I don't think he's ever going to be elite Barkley like he used to be, but he'll still be RB1 Barkley, I would think. And then McCaffrey got 5 points, went down with another injury. And Abbott at least has Chuba Hubbard, so maybe this is a Mike Davis situation of last year. But how long is McCaffrey out? When he comes back, is he 100%? I think it's a hamstring, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's not like he broke a bone and it's going to heal fine. It's going to be a lingering soft tissue injury that is going to stick with him the whole time. I hate that injury. I would prefer to just sit him out 5 weeks and give me 100%. Don't rush him back in 3. Although the team is 3-0, so they probably want to get him back and keep winning. But I'm not sure if Abbott can overcome the injury. Do you think there's any chance he can replace McCaffrey?
I don't. Hubbard's not going to do it. I think McCaffrey's going to be out longer than we expect, and when he comes back, he'll probably get hurt again.
Is this a
We
Joe
saw it
Mixon
last year.
situation from last year where Mixon was day to day, but he missed like 6 weeks of the season and he never came back, and they didn't IR him, but that's unfortunate. It's hard when you're trying to chase an injury, especially for the number 1 overall player.
Well, yeah, and Miles Sanders, his second running back, I like, but I think he got 2 carries last week. And he's perfectly healthy. So
I think he gained 15 yards a carry or something like that. I think his average was gigantic, but Philly just doesn't.
They don't like him. So I think what was once a strong point for him drops him drastically.
It's quick. It's funny how things change so quick. I was deep at running back, so I traded Hilaire, and then Cook's out, and all of a sudden I'm trying to find Lat Murray or whoever to plug in. It goes quick, man. You're never as good as well off as you think you are. So the next game was Dirty Sanchez versus Confederate States of America. We all took the Confederate States. He won by 41 points. He was the high scorer of the week at 161. Kamara had 19. James Robinson had 22. My question typed out here is, how do you feel about him moving forward? That's when we were going to film Thursday, but we saw how he moved forward yesterday, another bang-up game. So I guess he's okay. I guess James Robinson might be James Robinson from last year, and that's a definite bonus. Kirk got 61.9 out of his wide receivers and an additional 25 out of his defense. Is there any way Kirk's team is sustainable?
I think it is. Cooper Kupp looks like he's the best receiver in the league this year. Elliott, I see him kind of like Barkley, just getting stronger, solid quarterback. He has enough at running back, I think, between Tyson Williams and Myles Gaskin to kind of rotate one of those guys in. And then, like we talked about, between Chase, Henry Ruggs, even Beasley put up better numbers than we thought. I don't know if, he's not going to be undefeated, but I think he'll make the playoffs from that division.
Yeah, I'm okay with him being in the other division. I think Tagmeyer's still good, but I think Kurt might. I mean, I don't want to spoil any power rankings, but Kurt's team is looking strong. I agree. I think it is absolutely sustainable. Last game is the Rough Cats versus the Crumb Snatchers, and I asked Palmer for a quote about his first win. He won by 31. He didn't give me one, but I did actually find this. I think this is him. I recorded it. Clearly, it's not playing, but little hiccup. Here we go. Victory! Has to be good for him to get his first win. I know that I've asked him questions about, hey, why don't you start good players? And he doesn't respond, but I'm pretty sure you probably hammer him with a lot of antagonizing him quite a bit. So it's probably nice for him to get that win.
No, I actually I let him go because, as we've noticed, Tim's been missing from the show for 4 weeks now. Yeah. And he's also been missing from responding to any messages. So I don't really batter him with any questions or any comments other than on the show, which we know he doesn't watch either. No. So
don't feel bad. You and I have a group chat with him that he doesn't respond to. And Jake and I have a group chat that he doesn't respond to either. So it's usually just me and you talking about Palmer with him in the room, or me and Jake talking about Palmer with him in the room. But maybe his phone's broke. There's no responses. But
well, he just doesn't like to respond.
Really?
Although I do know that he went to the movies last night.
Wonder what he saw. Was it a Marvel movie?
Not Spider-Man, Venom.
The other Spider-Man.
That's what I said, and he told me Spider-Man wasn't in it. So
this is where we need Tim. Isn't Venom like the alter ego? Isn't Venom like the Incredible Hulk of the Spider-Man? I don't know, whatever. So Crumb Snatcher's got his first win. Lamar had 18 points. Hollywood Brown dropped 3 big passes. That might have been enough. If he catches 2 of those, which they were literally in his hands, they just fell out. They were catchable passes, and the one was a touchdown. Rough Cats probably win, and we're not talking about Palmer winning. On the other side, Stafford with 36, Najee broke out with 23, Eckler with 19. Maybe not fantasy wise, but just Steeler fan wise, Najee has a giant workload. He had 19 targets. He is getting hit every play, and he's not getting like defensive back ankle tackles. Linebackers are cracking him. He is taking a lot of hits. Are you concerned about his durability moving forward?
No, not at all.
No, you're not. Like when a game's out of touch, I don't understand why they don't throw in. I mean, Benny Snell's not the answer, but I don't think Najee getting 2 extra carries this year is worth, him getting cracked and taking that shot.
I think he's still moving well. He doesn't look hurt. Use him, let him get the experience. And from a fantasy perspective, Palmer should be happy about it.
I think if from fantasy perspective, this is exactly what you want, because Ben doesn't have time to look downfield, so he's just dumping a Najee handoff, and the line doesn't seem interested in blocking. So
Ben needs to renounce his faith for the next couple of weeks.
Bop that baloney. So we Tags and I took the Crumb Snatchers. You took Rough Cats, and we won. Tags and I both went 5-1.
Wow.
You went 4-2. So
Okay.
you are 8-10 on the year. I'm 10-8. So it's we're right there. It was a solid week for us. I think everything kind of worked out the way it was. And the game I lost was my game, so I could have went that 6-0, but I didn't. Emails. So we had 2 emails from our typical 2 emailers. One was from Tags. I think the league loser keeps a trophy and gets the plates engraved. I don't think it's been engraved in 3 or 4 years now, just looking at the trophy at Pat's house. So I don't know actually what the last year was. I know I was last place 2 years ago. Abbott was last place last year. I have no problem engraving it. I think that's actually a good, instead of doing or even with the punishment, that's part of the punishment. The day of the championship or the next day or the next week or whatever, the loser gets it engraved. It's a few bucks. It just takes, or even I don't even care if we take it out of the league fees, take $5 out of the league fees. It's just, you have to go in, get the trophy, hand deliver it to the champion as part of a punishment. I'm 100% behind that.
I am as well. I think
we are both not locks to be champs this year, so it would be, I think there's a better chance of us getting it engraved than us receiving the championship.
No, I think it's a great idea. I think the champion doesn't want to do it or isn't doing it. So I think it adds something for the loser to do and for them to play not to become that last place team.
Yeah, absolutely. I also thought of a couple other things. We always talk about certain role trades. How do you feel about instant trades? When I send you the trade, you hit accept, I'm for it being in. No vetoes. I think vetoes are stupid anyway. I don't think anyone's trying to make someone else win. If it's egregious, we can bring it up later. But most of the time, it's a spite veto that I don't want this guy to get better. But I like the idea of instant trades. The 2-day trade's not bad, but it's hard to make a trade on a Wednesday if you have something happening on a Thursday. And if you go in and have Pat accept it early, then you're setting a precedent that he needs to do that with every trade right away. So I don't even know if that's an option, but I like the idea of an instant trade. Whenever it's accepted, it goes through, and then you can make your changes right then and there.
Never thought about it. I'm really impartial to it either way.
We have 3 trades a year, so it's not like it's a big deal, but it's just something to take out of Pat's hands that the trade just goes through. Another issue, not an issue, but another suggestion is we talk about it every year, remove a bench spot. We even kicked around the idea of having an IR spot. If we remove 2 bench spots and add an IR spot, I think that would be cool. There's really nobody on the waiver wire of note. Rondell Moore was the big get last year. Last week, you got 1 point. If you kill some of the bench spots, I have Trey Lance on my bench. He's not even a professional quarterback at this point. There's people with multiple defenses. I think the bench is absorbed too much talent. Unless you find that one goofy breakout guy or a major injury, there's really no must-gets in the free agent line. And I also think that maybe it creates more trading if you have to make moves instead of everyone having so many people stashed on their bench. But we talk about it every year. I think it always gets outvoted, so I guess I'm in the minority. The last thing I thought of was trading Fab. Right now, I had it written down somewhere. I'm not 100% sure where, but I think Stu has $100 left on his Fab, but I think Abbott and Joey are under 50. I don't know if you can do it again with the ESPN setup, but I think it'd be kind of cool. Like, this trade is too fair, but what if I give you 20 in Fab to set it over the edge? I don't know how that would work or if you can even do it, but it's just something to think about. Anything you have or any idea, any comment on the Fab trading?
No, I think the Fab trading is a good idea. Don't really have any other role changes, but the Fab trading, I think I could get behind that. I could get behind losing a bench spot as well.
Yeah, it's just things to shake it up a little bit. The other email is from Stu, and this has been known as the Stu's Conspiracy Corner. Now, I got this one late, so I didn't get a chance to really look over it. But his comments, I guess, were, do you believe any of the following to be true? JFK was killed by a lone gunman named Lee Harvey Oswald. That's definitely the popular opinion. I think that's what the law and the government claims to be true. JFK was killed by the CIA for the failed Bay of Pigs invasion. The Bay of Pigs is an attempt to overthrow Fidel Castro. The interesting thing about that, when I dug into it a little bit, is Fidel Castro was in power till 2008. So if the CIA was that upset that he didn't get overthrown and they killed him, and they killed JFK, they unsuccessfully got Castro out of power for the next 40 years. Or JFK was killed by the mafia as a punishment to Bobby Kennedy for his strict crackdown on organized crime. I think I want that to be true the most. That's definitely the best storyline. But JFK is not. I don't know a ton about him. I don't know if you have any opinions on any of that.
I'd say the second one is false. The third one is also false. I think, but I don't know if I'd necessarily 100% believe number one either.
Yeah,
kind of like the moon landing.
Yeah,
I think maybe there was some sort of something else going on that they don't want us to know about.
Yeah,
what that is, I don't know why. I don't know what, and I don't know why. But I do have a theory.
JFK's brain was removed for an autopsy. It was lost immediately afterward, and it has never been found. I'd be curious, what do you do with the brain of a slain president? Is there a method for that?
I think you put it under the Denver airport with the rest of the Freemasons.
See, I didn't want to mention, I don't love the JFK one, but I'm really, really looking forward to the Denver airport if Stu sends that out. I am very interested in the Denver airport. I wasn't going to bring it up. I don't want to seem like I'm pushing Stu to certain topics, but I would be very interested. When I see the Denver airport one, I'd be very interested to.
Do you think, kind of bringing this full circle, do you think Tim Palmer isn't a part of the show now because he knows the real answers to all these questions? And if he was recorded talking about it, we might find him missing.
I mean, do we know he's not missing? Do you think Tim killed JFK?
He could.
Tim's basement is very suspect. Do you think his brain is down there? Very well could be. I don't know that it's not.
Maybe that's why he wants his house to burn so bad.
A lot of evidence in that house. I don't know. Well, maybe next week he'll show up and shed some light on it. All right, our next big topic of concern is Adam drops. No slam dunk names. The big guy was Tyler Conklin, a Minnesota tight end. Jack got him for $14. The next person was Marlon Mack, Indy running back. Jeff got him for $7. Now the popular thing this week is the Saints defense. 5 bidders on it. batting lawn, got him for 6. Tagmeyer also bid 6. He's very upset. He's curious why the tiebreaker went to me and not him. Pat got 4. Palmer got 3. Abbott got 2. So I landed the Vaughn to change defense. Jeff Wilson, San Fran running back. Pat got for 3. Rashard Bateman, Baltimore wide receiver. Mark got for 2. Titans defense. Jeff got for 2. Greg Joseph, the Minnesota kicker. Palmer got for 2. I like Rashard Bateman, but is that passing pie big enough in Baltimore to really make him a start?
I don't know if it'll be a start. Yeah, I don't know if it's a start right away, but I mean, I could see him if he's healthy, easily taking over the number 1 there.
They are throwing a lot more, it seems like.
Marquise Brown he's had a good 2 weeks, but I don't think he's necessarily a number 1 receiver. And Sammy Watkins is maybe a 3 or 4 at best.
Yeah.
So there's a big hole there. If they have a elite receiver, there will be a lot of passes to catch.
Maybe. I think they are throwing a lot more, so it's something to look at. I actually took a peek at them, but I still have Trey Lance on my bench. I don't want to cut yet. So, and here's the fab numbers. Stu has 100. Bry Guy has 99. They're the top 2. And the least are Joey with 43 and Abbott for 47. So that's just the fab update. Moving on to trades, there was no trades to report. Apparently, there's some people working some
they're
things
real too
out.
fair.
Maybe if you add some talent to lose a trade, you'll get something done, but we'll see. Weekly high score, Kirk got 161. Joey is still the league high with 169, but Kirk netted $12 on the year. Week 4 preview. First game is batting lawn 1 and 2 versus Rough Cats 1 and 2. We both lost 1 game in a row. I need Cook to get healthy. If he is, I'm in pretty good shape. Montgomery versus Detroit defense. I think that's a good run. I really like my wide receiver matchups. Although they're all wide receiver 2s, I do feel that they should get a lot of look this week. And on the other side, the Rough Cats, Lamar's injured. They're not making a lot about it, but I don't even know if he's practicing at this point. He's playing a tough defensive front with Denver with Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. Josh Jacobs is also injured. I'm not sure if I think he came back to practice, but he has an ankle injury, so who knows what's going to happen with him. I'm taking myself in this one to get back in the winning ways.
I am as well. Just looking at the Rough Cats, Chase Edmonds, Michael Pittman, Logan Thomas, and Jacoby Myers. They're not starters in my eyes, at least not all 4 of them at the same time. If Dalvin Cook comes back, you're solid running back. DJ Moore had a good week last week. We'll probably do it again. Deontay Johnson's a question mark, on health. But other than that, I only see him having maybe 2 categories better than you, 2 players better.
What I'm looking at right now. The only thing I'm not real sure about is Deontay Johnson versus Tim Patrick. I'm going back and forth with those 2. I don't know. That's my only thing. I guess it depends. I think Deontay practicing full, so maybe he's okay, but who knows about Ben and about who does Jamal Adams? Is it Jamal Adams? Who's the safety for Green Bay? Yeah, no, Jamal Adams is Seattle. Can't think of his name. They got that really good safety in Green Bay. I'm not sure who he's going to watch. The next one, the General, still holding the crown versus Cream of Wheat. General's 3-0. Cream of Wheat's 2-1. Tags is 1-3 in a row. Joey is 1-1. Is Aaron Rodgers versus Pittsburgh secondary a good matchup?
For who?
For Rodgers.
If you're Rodgers,
I think so as well. Henry versus Jets. I don't have to ask you. That is a good matchup, regardless of who the Jets trot out there. I think Henry feasts. Joey has Dak Lamb versus Carolina. So far, Carolina's given up the 3rd lowest points to opposing QBs, although they haven't played any really good opposing QBs yet. Joey's running backs are Gibson versus Atlanta, and Swift is the number 3 running back in the league at this point, so I think his running backs have a really good matchup. Kelsey and Hunt. Joey has a lot of firepower. It's just, does Hunt get it or does Chubb get it? Kelsey keeps doing what he does. I am actually going to go with Joey in this one.
I'm going the other way. I'm going with the General. Last week, Mike Williams said wasn't a big fan. He turned out, had 2 touchdowns. I mushed myself on that one. Jefferson, Henry, Rogers, I think are locks. Hawkinson probably won't score 2 or less points again. The only question mark is Melvin Gordon, and it seems like he's at least scoring 10 points. I think that's a win for the general. Not a big fan of Corey Davis, we talked about. Kelsey will be good. Hunt is up and down. And then CeeDee Lamb, Gibson, and Swift, I'm just not sold on them. They're playing well, but I'm not completely sold on those 3 yet.
Did Chark break his ankle yesterday or something?
He did. Fractured.
Chark on the bench. He's done. At least he has Michael Thomas. Rondell Moore. He has a lot of receivers on his bench, but none that are good. Well, I do have one thing to say to Joey.
You best not miss.
I don't like the way it delays. It doesn't come on. If you come at the king, you best not miss. Omar from The Wire, who passed away recently in real life. The next game is Stu versus Jeff. So Dirty Sanchez versus Gravity Rainbow. Stu's 1-2. He's lost 2 in a row. Gravity Rainbow is 1-1. Again, this is our Friday show. So Stu's starting with 33 points is an excellent start. Robinson at 2 TDs, Mixon with 13. Not bad for Mixon. Great from Robinson. Hurts is a top 10 quarterback, and Kamara versus Giants. He should probably feast. Like we said about Jeff, Herbert's number 13, but after coming off a 36-point week, he's going to be moving up. I wonder if Aaron Jones is going to find room against the Steelers defense. I think that has a lot to do with, I guess, Watt and Hayward. Hayward's playing out of his mind. He's having a really good season so far. I guess depending on Aaron Jones, it's going to be Adams and Tunyon. If they blow the top off, I would assume Aaron Jones will get some good work. I think the Steelers are susceptible to a screen game. We'll see if that comes to play.
I'm thinking in this game, I think this is close because Mixon and Robinson, I think both of those 2 will put up more points than I think Mixon will put up more points than Davis. Robinson will put up more points than Brown now after the game he had. I think also Cortland Sutton is going to put up a decent amount of points this week too, because he's, other than Tim Patrick, I mean, he's by far and away the number 1 now with Judy and Hamler out. I'm going to go with Dirty Sanchez on this. Before yesterday, I would have picked Gravity's Rainbow. I'm taking Stu.
I agree with you. And I just read just 2 seconds ago, Kittle missed practice. So I don't know. I didn't think anything was wrong, but I guess that just popped up. So that doesn't help Kurt at all. Or that doesn't hurt Jeff at all. That doesn't help Jeff at all. What's the next one? Looks like it's Ben's Baloney Boppers and the Thunder Gun Express. Obviously you're 0-3 with 3 losses in a row. Jack has 1-1.
This is where I get my first win.
He's 2-1. Oh, okay. Well, tell me about it. Why do you get your first win here?
Because I believe this is when Taylor breaks out. Wilson's going to break out. Wilson always plays good in division. He's going to break out. And then I think the Tampa Bay guys on Sunday Night Football in New England, I think Brady's going to want to score a lot of points. So it's a homecoming for Gronk. It's a homecoming for Brady. It's a homecoming for AB. It's a homecoming for my offense.
I don't know that they punt once. I want to watch the game. I'm excited for it, but I kind of wish the Patriots were better. I don't know that they have a prayer in this game, and you have the majority of the Tampa offense. So I think that if Tampa goes, you'll probably be all right. I actually agree with you. I picked you as well. Your running back issues with Taylor and Fournette. Fournette's going to get it because it's the New England game, but Taylor, he's too good to stay dormant this long. Hill needs to get going, and he will get going because he's Tyreek Hill, and then Evans, OBJ, and Gronk. You got some names there. I guess Gronk's back to practice. They weren't really concerned about it. I guess he got banged up. His ribs are fine. There's really not much else you can do where he got hit. It's not like there's an internal organ issue. Thunder Gun. Kyler's number 2 running back. The number 2 quarterback, and he's against the Rams. So he won't be number 1 after this week. Brady's number 1. He's going to probably maintain number 1 and build a lot of gap between him and Kyler. Barkley's playing a New Orleans defense. New Orleans got a really good defense, as evidenced by the free agent list. And then Carson versus San Fran, and Cook's at Buffalo. I don't like Thunder Guns matchups. I think I think the Ben's Maloney Boppers versus the Patriots is going to be the key. So I think we're going to be talking about your first win.
Who do you think will have more points out of Jonathan Taylor, Leonard Fournette, and Kenyon Drake?
I don't know who Drake plays.
He plays the Chargers.
But Chargers are decent too. But Taylor versus Miami. Especially, they need to protect Carson Wentz. He gets hit. Dump it off to him, and Taylor can catch the ball. That's why he was drafted so high.
Do you think Fournette will outscore Kenyon Drake?
I do.
Okay.
I think Taylor's in for a 30-point game. Fournette's probably 20. I don't know what Drake
might score 5, 6.
I have no interest in Drake. What's the correlation?
The Thunder Gun Express just really like Kenyon Drake.
Is that the trade?
No. Oh, no.
He's on the bench. He took him out of the starting lineup. Carson, who's the Brandon Cooks? I don't know. I think, what's the projections? You're projected to lose by 2 points, so you might as well hang it up now.
It's close.
This week. Confederate States of America versus the Crumb Snatchers. I'm all over the place. I didn't put these in order this week. So Kurt's team, Mahomes isn't the star of his team. Cooper Kupp is. He's averaging 28 points. Mahomes is going to get back where he was. 10 points out of Jamar Chase, though. That's the lowest output of the year. So again, like we said about Stu benefiting from Thursday, I think Thursday hurt Kurt's chances. Palmer with Eckler and Harris. It looks like a great 1-2 punch. But then Allen Robinson and Woods have started awfully slow. If we take a peek at his flex, it's Michael Carter. He was the only running back for the Jets last week. Tevin Coleman was sick, and he mustered up a fantastic 3.9 points, I think.
Yep.
So maybe his breakout is this week versus the Titans. I don't think it is. I'm going with Kurt.
I want to pick the Crumb Snatchers. I can make an argument, like you said, about Jamar Chase only scoring 10, about every position except Michael Carter.
I thought Michael Carter was going to break out last week. I actually offered Palmer a trade, which I thought was very fair. His response, it wasn't a trade analyzer. It was, my other running backs are on a bye week 7. Carter's my only running back. And I said, well, Tim, it's week 3. A lot of things can happen before then, but he wasn't. We couldn't get a deal done. Looking back, I'm glad we didn't get a deal done last week, but I do think Carter's good. I don't know that Carter is a flex option at this point of his career.
You know what? I'm gonna go with the Crumb Snatchers, although I'm putting it out there that I am iffy about Carter. Every other position, I think he can at least match up. The only thing, Cole Beasley, I'm not 100% sold on of him, scoring 20 plus points. So I'm gonna go with the Snatchers.
Well, let's see. Let's see if this is the week for him. I hope it is. Last game is a Still Agenda versus the Brady Bunch. Still Agenda's 1-2, lost 1. Brady Bunch is 1-2, lost 1. One of them are going to change it. Pat has Allen versus Houston. That's not a good matchup. That's just unfair. Although Teddy, 2 gloves didn't do it last week. Josh Allen's a different player. I think Diggs started off slow. I think Diggs is going to end up reclaiming his number 1 receiver option this week. It's going to be scary, I think. An injured Henderson versus the badass linebackers at Arizona. Chandler Jones, J.J. Watt. Zane Collins is young, but I think he's really good. He doesn't have much stats, but I do like Zane Collins. or Zayvon Collins. The other running back is CEH. So he had a good game last week, but 2 weeks ago he fumbled. KC lost. Last week, Edward Chiller fumbled. KC lost. Drove Andy Reid to the hospital. So I wonder if his workload is going to get. If he can't hold the ball, I don't think they like him anyway. And if he can't hold the ball and they're losing games now, I think you're going to see the switch back to Hill and away from the run game. So I think that's another problem. I think pass running backs are an issue. Adams, Diggs, McLaurin, they're all a plus matchup. So where Pat loses on his running backs, I think he more than makes up for with his receivers, especially Adams versus Hayden and Diggs versus whoever Houston trots out that game. On the other side, the Brady bunch, Tom Brady's number one, and he's going to extend his lead even farther. That's a really great matchup. That's a really big positional advantage for most people, except Josh Allen. And then, but then you have Sanders and Hubbard and Damian Harris versus Tampa. So this is going to be a battle of the 5 worst running backs, I think, that are in starting jobs right now. Boyd, on the other hand, got 18 points, but he was on the bench. I don't know. Maybe I do start Boyd over Damian Harris. I don't know, but he can't do anything about it now. I think I'm taking Pat in this one. I just think that losing McCaffrey is going to be a issue until he comes back.
Yeah, I'm going to take Pat as well. I'd probably, Boyd's good to have. I probably would still start Damian Harris with James White out. Unless you put Harris in for Chuba Hubbard and start Boyd in the flex. I just, as much as I wasn't a big fan of Pat's running backs, I'm less of a fan of the Brady bunches now with Sanders and Hubbard starting.
So with
Allen,
Hubbard,
either
Dallas,
are fine.
you can throw on Dallas. No one really runs on Dallas, though. And then the other side with Damian Harris, you're running on Tampa's defense. And I'm pretty sure Tampa's going to be out to a quick lead, a big lead.
Yeah.
I think Harris is out of the game early. He's going to be ineffective, and the game script's not going to be conducive to him doing much. I mean, it's easy to say now because it's Friday and I saw Boyd put up 18. But I don't like Waddle. I don't like Lindsey. Freiermuth. I have a hard time believing you're going to put a tight end in a spot there. Jackson, Mitchell. Is Mitchell healthy yet or no? I don't think he's back this game.
Not yet.
Yeah, so I think maybe by default I do start Boyd, but whatever. You're taking Pat in that one?
Yep.
Okay. Well, we are down to the final segment. We did some shuffling this week, and just like the casinos, put the big money games in the back, so you have to walk through everything else to get to it. The March Still Power Rankings.
All right. Away? So, week 4 power rankings. Last week, ranked number 12 was the Crumb Snatchers. This week, ranked number 12, we got the 0-3 Ben's Baloney Boppers. The only winless team in the league, dropped 1 spot and is now where they were projected at 4 weeks ago. Number 11, we have the Crumb Snatchers. They won their first game. They moved up just 1 spot because even with the win, they are still the only team yet to break 300 points scored.
This season? Is that true?
Yeah.
That's less than 100. Well, that's less than 100 points a game.
283 points scored for the year.
Wow. Yeah.
Coming in at number 10. And I'm trying to look at your rankings to see what this team was ranked at last week. Is Batting Lawn.
Batting Lawn was 9th, so I went down 1.
Dropped 1 spot. You lost last week.
I lost, so you lose, you go down. It's
you went down a spot, and a lot of it has to do with, again, just above 300 points, coming in at 305. After a loss, drops you down 1. Then another 1-win team coming in at number 9. We have Dirty Sanchez. I thought this team would be a little bit better coming into the year, but they're on a 2-game win or losing streak, and they're going to continue to fall until they right the ship. Coming in at number 8, we have the Rough Cats.
He was down from 6.
Again, lost last week, only has 318 points. So, he's another middle of the pack. He can move up next week, but it's going to take either a high scoring game or win. Coming in at number 7, we have Kareem of Wheat.
He was 10.
Jumped up 3 spots again. He now has 2 wins and has a solid 380 some points. So, he continues to kind of go back and forth, one big week, one small week, until he can kind of become more consistent. That's when you'll see him move up. Coming in at number 6 is the Brady Bunch.
Down from 3.
A loss, not breaking 100 points, and then losing Christian McCaffrey. I expect to see him to actually continue to fall. You lose the number 1 overall pick, who knows for how long. That's just going to continue to hurt him unless he can right the ship quick. Coming in at number 5 is another 1-win team, but I think this team is strong. The So Agenda. I think after the move they made last week, scoring 150 points, I think they're in a good spot to continue to win, especially in the division they're in. I could see them moving up quick into at least 2nd place. Coming in number 4.
Sorry, he was 8, so he moved up 3 spots.
Coming in at number 4, we got the Thunder Gun Express. Coming off their win, solid performance. We talked about might have the MVP in Kyler Murray. I continue to see him kind of in that spot. And I think the top 4 in that division, Kurt, Jack, Jeff, and Pat, I think they're going to fight out for the those 3 playoff spots.
Yeah, that 1 spots. Oh, they have the playoff odds in this. I never realized that. So playoff percentage, Kurt's 90%, Jack 77, Jeff's 56, and Pat is 65. Jeff has 2 wins, Pat has 1, but he has a better chance. Right now, your percentage is 19. The Crumb Snatchers is 15, and I'm at 29. So we have a lot of work to do.
Do you find it alarming that the 3 people the 2 that are on the show and the 1 that used to be, have the 3 lowest percentages?
No, I don't. And I told you exactly why. It's because the league doesn't catch up to us. We draft players that do well, and they're not producing. It'll change.
I think you're right.
Slow last year, and it'll be okay.
So coming in at number 3, or did I do 4? 4 was Thunder Gun Express.
4 was Thunder Gun, down from 5 to 4. So you got the top 3.
3, we got Gravity's Rainbow. Coming off a win, solid point performance. We just saw he has a close to a 60% chance to make the playoffs. My biggest we talk about it all the time. Biggest weakness, I think, is just that 2nd running back. Other than that, I think Gravity's Rainbow has a solid team. Coming at number 2, we have the Confederate States of America.
I didn't know if he was going to take over number 1 or not.
I thought about moving them up. I almost did after the high scoring week, but the general, I think, scored the 2nd most points, and the general has been number 1 and will continue to be number 1 until they get overtaken and lose a game.
He's number 1 for the 3rd week in a row now. So
and he's on a 3-game win streak.
He's on a 3-game win streak. So I guess that pretty much sums it up. Anything else you want to touch on?
I think we hit it all.
I got one. Who's the Steeler game at this week?
Stu.
Awesome. Anything you expecting a good menu item or what?
I expect he's going to smoke something. So I'm really excited to eat his smoked meat.
Excellent. Prediction: Steelers, Packers.
Steelers win by 21.
Right. Go into Lambeau and claim their dominance again.
I think Ben throws for 350 and 4 touchdowns.
How many to Deontay Johnson?
1.
Who's getting the rest? Juju gets one, Chase gets one, Najee gets one, or does Ben run one in probably for 40 or 50 yards?
Nah, Ben's not going to run one in. He's having a hard time running until until he does a little bit of rehab.
Yeah.
But he's going to spread the ball. Freiermuth might get one or two. Johnson will get one. Najee will get one, and then either Juju or Claypool.
Okay. Excellent. Well, I think I'm off night shift this week, so we might be back to Thursday evening shows. No shout out to Brandy. We didn't really touch on that at all. I wonder if I guess it's Friday. We'll still watch it together. Tags.
Wonder how she thought of Tim's performance.
She had to like it. He won.
I meant on the show.
That might be a different story. Yeah, he's very hostile. I watched the show back. He was very confrontational and hostile. And I'm praying. I hope my team does well. There's a couple, I'm not gonna lie to you. I hope Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't want him to get hurt, but I want Pat to deal with what I had to deal with every day last year of getting 4 to 6 points. So I root against Edwards-Helaire a lot. Even when I had him, I'm like, I'm just be bad enough that they cut you so I can just get it. So I'm not forced to start you. So I root for all of my guys. I root for mostly Palmer, mostly you. I root against our division, but then I also I have to root for Robbie Anderson now because Tagmar is such a jerk off. The facts are there. He gets an overwhelming amount of targets. He's just not catching them, which is okay because Robbie Anderson's. I'm sorry that DJ Moore is catching them, and that's good for me. But I would like to see Robbie Anderson creep up into an RB2. I did a little research on Robbie. Palmer had him last year. He was drafted in the 60s, and he ended up being wide receiver 22. So he was a second wide receiver drafted in wide receiver 5 area, and he had 136 targets. So the numbers are there. Sam Darnold was with the Jets. Then they both went to the Panthers. You would assume his success would continue. It didn't. Just like you would assume Diggs would be good. He's not. You would assume Taylor would be good. He's not. Clyde Edwards-Helaire should be a top 5 running back. He's the only running back on the best offense in the league. They don't know how to use him right. That's the league. They don't know how to. The coaches try to outcoach. I'm done now. I'm insulted. I'm offended, and I'm aggravated. So I guess
let's go, Robbie Anderson.
I think who has him? I think Bry Guy has
him. That guy has him.
I offered him a couple trades. I thought it was fair. Apparently, maybe it was too fair. I don't know. I think Robbie Anderson's obtainable, but I don't want 2 Carolina wide receivers, and I like DJ Moore better. So we'll see what happens. For Bry Guy's sake, especially now he's on the bench and Josh Jacobs is out of his lineup, he put in Chase Edmonds, Nick Chubb, Jacoby Myers. We'll see what happens. Wrap up week 4. I think I'm going to touch up my power rankings this week. They will be nothing like yours. Yours are, I'm going to be an amateur in this. You're clearly the professional. You're the expert, as people have said.
I'm a real expert. This is real analysis.
Real analysis from an expert. I like it. So we will sign off here, get this show out quick. No one's playing Fortnite, so I should be able to download it really fast. And we'll be good to go. Mark, good luck. Hope you catch your first win this week and get our playoff percentages up a bit.
You got it. I think we're both going to – did I pick you to win? I can't remember, but –
I put everything away. I don't remember if you did or not. You did.
Well, we're both –
Well, good thing Robbie Anderson's on the bench because I'm playing the Rough Cats. I'm definitely going to win now.
You're going to win. I'm going to win. Palmer's going to win. Overall, it's a win for the show.
I kind of want Tags to lose. I want to see the crown moving. So we'll see how it goes. All right. Till next week. Good luck, everyone.
Adios.
See ya.